things, in case anybody missed it earlier, that is joining right now. And so I want to talk a little bit about ILUS. All right. Now, I want to bring this up for Brett, and I want to get your take on this. We talk about QIND. They're going to NYSE American, and they're on track at this point for summer 2023. Yes, timelines. Hey, take your ILUS timeline pills, folks. But the fact that they're doing this is great. QIND is preparing for New York Stock Exchange American. We've seen all this. This is important information going on. They have this is what they released today. All right, very important stuff. ILUS now confirms that it has secured the facility in Kragujevac. I think that's right. I don't know if that's
amazing
right.
You just said that. I just go Kragujevac in Serbia.
Sugar.
Yeah.
That place in Serbia. You know what I mean? And so they have meetings with European government leaders. I see parallels between the strategy here and what's going on with CYBL, and we're going to get to CYBL, but a much larger phase two. They're now not only going to have that 6x6 E-Raptor, which I have 2 on back order that, once I'm just kidding, I really don't, but hopefully I won't own one. But and they have the production of the new 4x4 models. It seems like they have their vision is clear. They mentioned this last week. We're going to get updates on ERT acquisitions. I like that pluralization there. The E-Raptor production, which we just got. We got a Hyperion Defense Solutions. So I'm looking at all this. All right. I'm looking at all this, and I got to ask you, when you see this, Brett, is this music to your ears, and does this make you happy as an investor, as a big time investor, that they are acquiring these things and they're networking through government contracts like this?
Yeah, I of course it's good news. Anytime that you see them actually executing and doing what they say they're going to do is a good thing with me. Anyone who's been investing in the OTC markets for several years knows that CEOs' allegiance to the truth aren't always like there. I don't know how to say it as nicely as possible. They're liars. I don't know how else to say it.
That's right.
So, yeah. I don't know. I guess that's just. I like what I'm saying and compared to you, I don't have like an absurd amount of money in ILUS, but from my position and where I'm at, with what I make a year, I have a substantial amount, in my opinion, in ILUS. And when I do see these things going on, and here's my ILUS tangent, I like to see the progress. They've been showing the progress, and I don't know. I have a very positive feeling about this because I think Serbia has been long lingering over us for a while now. So I'm glad to hear that you're sort of optimistic on it. And in your honest opinion, do you see them taking the steps necessary after QIND uplist? Because I think that's going to be inevitable. I think with that share buyback, it's not that far away. It's not like it's years in the future. It's like it's months away, not years away. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think with this, and I got to pick your brain on this because you have access to these guys too. Do you think that with this and with the ERT acquisitions, which I think if they nail those acquisitions, those U.S. acquisitions, the target of 60 million for that one company, this is, you got to understand, there's 11 companies under the ILUS umbrella, and that is expanding really rapidly. That's a lot for 2 years. And so I see a lot going on there, especially with the ERT acquisition. So do you think at this point, the question is, I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, that ILUS will be a candidate to go to the NASDAQ or NYSE at some point in the next couple of years?
Yes. I think it's not going to be as direct as as people would hope or might think it will be. I think there's going to be multiple spinouts, and when I say spinouts, I know that QIND wasn't really like underneath them, but you understand what I mean? Like they're like affiliated. Like I think there's going to be several spinouts, and I think that those spinouts all add enormous value to ILUS. So like, for example, when QIND uplists to the New York Stock Exchange, that creates enormous liquidity event. It creates money, revenue. Everything for ILUS. It's good for them. They own a considerable portion of the company, So, it works out for everyone it works out for everyone.
Yeah, especially getting like when the majority of a controlling block, and then they have the acquisitions under that. That's brilliant. It was a really smart idea, I think. And I think
I think so. And Nick is really good. As far as like a CEO goes, and like, look, there's a balance between like issuing stock, keeping shareholders happy, and like progress. But like remember, like with what they're doing, like it's not free. Like it costs millions of dollars, like what they've accomplished and what they've done. Like it's not like if it cost 20 grand, everybody would have a business like ILUS. Do you know what I mean? Like, but and the thing is, I mean, Nick is the guy works hard. I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, for a CEO, like most of these guys are kind of like, a lot of these CEOs are kind of like looking for a free ride. They want to issue enough shares so that they can make 6 figures a year and like, you know, take their family on vacation. I get it. Nick is like, so he's in Dubai most of the time. So he's usually 10 hours ahead of me. I mean, the guy talks to me all the time. He'll call me like 6 a.m. my time, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. I mean, that's like the middle of the night in Dubai. I mean, like seriously. I mean, like, you know. So I mean, I don't know. His allegiance to this is solid, and that's pretty much what I've started betting on in the last couple of years. Is really, really vetting out management. And like, you know what I mean? So like someone like Nick and JP, like I've sat with them, I've met with them, like I've eaten meals with them. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I've talked to them in depth. Same thing with a guy like Mark Schmidt from CYBL. It's the same thing. I mean, like I'm betting on these people and not so much like the companies. And then like, you know, I mean, I would rather have like a mediocre business and really good management than like an amazing business and some shitty managers, because like it's just going to run into the ground. Like, unfortunately, like, you know, like after a while you can only issue so many shares for money. You know what I mean? The buyers dry up. Okay. Like you cannot just infinitely issue shares. And I think that like ILUS, for example, has done a great job of like managing that outstanding share count. I know that it's gone up a little bit and it's gone down and there's been cancellations and issuances, you know, but for the amount of money that like they've received and on the terms they've gotten, it's unbelievable. I mean, other companies. I mean, I know it's crazy. Like look at these other companies, like the one you showed before, that Kegs. They get like 5.8 billion. I mean, what Pfizer?
Hey man, don't talk about Kegs that way.
Listen, dude, that's gonna be my Brett Rosen triple play to 8 cents, like you just explained. Back off. No.
All right, sorry. Okay, you know, bad example.
You guys just heard he endorsed Kegs fully. No, no.
Well, can I say something really quick?
Absolutely.
What you're getting at here. People like to pound the desk and they hear the word dilution. They're like, "Oh my god! Like, what are you doing?" Like, and people think that like acquisitions just like are given to you for free or something. They're like, "Why don't they acquire any companies?" And they're like, "Well, why are they diluting?" And it's like, "Well, what do you want them to do? Like, just snap their fingers and companies appear and like subsidiaries appear? Like, it's all about what you're like reinvesting with. If it's some like scammer who's just like paying himself $400,000 a year to do nothing and issue shares, then yeah, that's bad investment. But if it's like a company that basically exceeds your cost of capital, that's a good investment, right? And issuing equity has a cost of capital, right? I mean, that's like capital investing 101, guys. Like just think about what they're doing with the dilution.
And it's actually really smart that Sam says that, because like dilution is like, obviously it's a bad word. You own less percentage of the company, but does anyone actually care how much percentage they own of these companies? No, they care about what the share price is. That's all you care about. So like if you have 100 million shares outstanding and you issue, and the stock is 10 cents, and you issue another 100 million shares, yeah, you diluted down 10%. But if that share price goes up, you didn't dilute anything. You actually built market cap. Like that's the difference. Like, I mean, look at ILUS. I mean, the thing used to be sub penny, whatever, back in the day. I mean, you guys find it when they're sub penny. I wish I was as smart as you guys. Like, I'm the idiot that finds it at 52 cents and is like, hey, you know what? Let's do a deal. Like, I mean,
well, it's a valid point, especially what you said before, is the fact that, and I've said this in so many videos and in so many forums, that they're not bloating the share structure to high health. No. They aren't. I mean, you're talking adding 10 million shares, 20 million, or when it isn't in the whole scope of things for the value that they're adding to the company and everything underneath it. And they're just getting started. This is in its infancy. But not only that, when they had the chance to keep I think it was 40 million shares. I'm probably going to be wrong. They made sure that they canceled those 40 million shares. Am I right about that? There were 40 million shares that were just lingering, and they made sure they didn't keep them. Nick canceled them right out. And
exactly, which means they go back to Treasury, which means they can never be sold again. That's why,
and they have that wiggle room now, because now they have 40 million shares to play with for acquisitions.
Correct, without like bloating the thing. I mean, it was actually like the same thing with CYBL. And not to like jump around too much here, but like in the very beginning, like when I invested, not the very beginning of CYBL, but for me, the very beginning, when I invested with them, I mean, they canceled like I don't even remember what it was, some like 400 million shares of stock, and then only issued 250 million. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I'm with some quick math. That's 150 million share reduction. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't usually. I mean, look, I've been in this business, like in the OTC markets for like 15, 17 years now. Reductions don't happen that often. Like, let's just say that, like, I mean, people aren't canceling their shares because once shares are issued, unless they're like the CEO and they're canceling them for whatever, it's not easy to cancel shares. I mean, the person has to like physically sign them back over to you. It's like a wire transfer. Once you wire transfer someone money, unless they send it back to you, you're never getting it back.